going through the
Turn off
checklist.
my Snapchat. My snap filter.
Only if
think it looks better without it.
want. I actually like your room setup. I think that's more. Unless you have like a very much on. I know this is flying, much like Air Force One is flying, but I think your room looks cool enough to just let it be your room. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Thank you for the feedback.
Yeah. Did you make it so that are those LED lights you can change the color in them?
Yeah, I have them on a rotating.
Oh, nice.
Thing.
Very cool. Oh, I'm not going to play the trailer like I normally do. I mean, you guys will hear the sound and everything, but
okay, that's.
I think. Will you? Yeah, you will be able to. Okay. Wow, is my voice going already? My goodness.
I'm sorry, Francisco.
Oh, not your fault, David. Not your fault at all.
Yeah, it is.
Not that my voice is going. You get yes, your internet and stuff, but oh well, my voice shouldn't be gone by this point. Let's see. So now you can start asking if people are there, Paul. I'm gonna start going through the checklist. David, could you tell me something about your day, like something you did?
It was a work day, and my wife had to go and wait on chair movers that never showed up.
That's annoying. That should be good though. Paul, can you go again, please? Like just some.
Paul Powers coming in 123.com.
Okay, turn yourself down just a smidge, Paul.
Just a smidge. Are you kidding me?
And David, are you going to be able to record just your side of the conversation on your own? And send me that file after. I think you said you'd be able to do that. Okay.
Is this too much? Did I turn it down too much?
Yes, I've got my little recorder ready to go.
I don't think so, Paul. I think that was fine.
Okay.
Awesome. So there's the checks, and I think I'm coming in good. Hello, Bobo. Glad you made it back.
Hey.
Do you have a hard stop time, David?
I don't.
Okay. Did you get down to your 2 likes Classic Maker, 2 dislikes Tragic Maker?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have a spirit?
Hold on.
Oh,
just a sec.
That's it. Does excited Kermit arm flailing thing? Nice, Bobo. Yeah, I can totally visualize that GIF.
Let's start the show. Yay!
Yay! Oh goodness. Let's see. You said you don't have a spiritual speculation, Paul.
No, but I can talk.
Left and right. Yeah, that's good.
All right, I'm back. I just realized that I left my notes in the other room.
Oh no.
Oh.
So
it's a good thing that you.
They're here.
Okay, cool. Did you have a spiritual speculation topic tonight, David?
I do. I have one.
Oh, good.
Okay.
I do have one.
Okay, cool. And then we don't have to do an oath because you've done it before. Okay. All right. So I think we're good for everyone to start their own individual recordings. So do that when I say mark. So I'll do a 5 count. No, I'm doing it now.
There yet.
Matthew, Luke, John.
All right. Ready for Mark?
Obadiah.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. Let's see.
Oh, hi, Mark.
Mine is actually going. Good.
Hello.
Hello.
Okay, good.
I'm going in. I'm blue.
Awesome.
Testing. I mean, it's just recording mine.
Okay. Fantastic. Okay. Then I think, and the broadcast started already. And let me know, guys, if you can hear this. Actually, you guys may not be able to hear this. What? Are you saying something to me, Paul?
Yeah. Sorry.
Okay.
No. Go ahead.
Okay. So
you may not be able to hear the
trailer, though. Sound effects you should be able to hear. Yeah, like for instance, let me play one of them. I think because those go through my phone, which I have the odd. What are you saying to me? Phone? Don't be dumb. Okay, can you hear this? Okay, all right. But you cannot hear this, correct? Let me get it up.
How did this happen? How the hell did they get Air Force One?
I'm the president of the United States.
It's like
because you're probably hearing the bleed through my headphones, but you can't hear. Now, if I do this, can you hear it?
The president's plane.
Okay. So when I play that, I'll be, if I forget to to turn it down so you guys aren't echoing, let me know. But I have to do the old switcheroo for it. Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Let's see. I hear it. I hear again. I hear yet again. Well, that's fantastic, Bob. I'm glad you're hearing all the things. Okay, let me move that down.
Is that a delay? I guess so.
I don't know. For what? For me? For David? For
this? Oh, you're drinking.
Wow.
Well, it's delayed. I mean, I'm watching Twitch. The only video feed I have.
Oh, because you can't see me. Oh, I forgot you guys couldn't see me. Oh my goodness. Okay. I can't think if there's a way for you to see me through OBS Ninja, Paul. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. No, that's fine. And I don't want David to see us because that might eat his bandwidth.
Fair. All right. Then I think we'll go ahead and get going. Get this show on the road, so to speak. That's how we say things. You don't have to apologize, David. It's part and parcel with the whole genie gig. Phenomenal cosmic power. Sometimes exactly. Let's see. Okay, come on, Francisco, pull it together now. Where'd my notes go?
Now, did everyone is on the left? Are you on the left channel and we're on the right channel?
Yep, I have that. My dart is actually going. It is actually recording. I have 3 hours. I have full battery. 3 hours of recording. I'm good there. Yeah, I know.
All right. Well, let's go.
All right. Here we go. We're going to start the thumbs up. Well, I can't see your thumbs up.
No, don't do thumbs
okay,
up.
so we're gonna start. I'm doing the opening skit here in 5, 4. Why am I yawning? Wow. Let me apply more chapstick.
Part of the skit.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
Do you want me to add this sound effect during your skit?
You know what? Let's start with that sound effect. So when I say go,
okay,
do that. And then I'll just come in toward the end of it.
All right.
So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Mr. President, you just did an incredibly brave thing. What you should have done is escaped your plane. You don't protect your plane, the Secret Service does. Sir, your ego is writing checks your body can't cash. Now get off my ship and go listen to this episode of the Retro Rewind podcast.
Reflux capacitor, fluxing, crew, distinctions. Scanning for Air Force One, 1997. Prepare to rewind in 3, 2, 1.
Air Force One has been hijacked.
Welcome, Rewinders and new listeners, to the Retro Rewind podcast, where we take a fresh look at movies and games from 15 or more years ago. I am your captain of the pod, Francisco Ruiz, and I'm joined by your XO and mine, Paul, the Master Interrupter Powers.
Hey, I heard something ridiculous recently. It said if you give a mouse a cookie,
it's going to want a glass of milk. Yeah.
Right.
Yes, it does.
No.
Oh, I should say if you give a kid a cookie, they're gonna ask for a glass of milk, because that's true.
Mice.
It's a storybook, Paul. Have you not read that story? It doesn't matter. Also, for this discussion of the film Air Force One, we welcome back aboard creator and host of the Enthusiast podcast, which now I can no longer say enthusiast. I had to say enthusiast, David Gardner. Welcome back, David.
Well, for a second ago, I was going to say, and he said it right that time. I heard last time's episode.
Oh, so glad to have you back. And now that you have a quick flyby of who we are, Paul, can you give us a quick overview of the production specs for Air Force One?
Yes, Air Force One was released July 21st, 1997. It runs 4 minutes, just over 2 hours, and is rated R. It was directed by Wolfgang Peterson and written by Andrew W. Marlowe, with lead stars being Harrison Ford, Gary Oldman, and Glenn Close. The music was composed.
I love it when it's composed.
Yeah. It was composed by one guy, but Jerry Goldsmith brushed it up with his music talents. And all right, you ready for the box office trivia game?
I am ready. David, are you ready?
Fire when ready.
And chat, feel free to join in too. Go for it, Paul.
All right. Air Force One was made for a whopping $85 million.
Ooh, nice.
And it earned over $315 million at the box.
Holy moly. Okay.
Given this and the fact that it was released theatrically in 1997, how high in the box office do you think it ranks among the other movies released in 1997?
All right. So, of all the movies, 50. Top 50. Okay. You never give us top 100 anymore. Maybe I want top 100.
Well, we got to review, not as popular movies.
I suppose that's a fair point. Okay. So does that mean if you ever say top 100, it's going to be under 50? David, what was your prediction? Or not prediction, but your guess for the box office? Number 10. All right. Let's see. In chat, we have Baba says 42, of course. And then for me, I'm 1997. I don't remember that being a super popular. Well, that's when Titanic came out, I'm pretty sure.
Wow.
So it's not number one.
That was number one.
Okay.
Titanic.
But I think it's probably popular enough to be number 3. So I'm going to say number 3. All right. So Paul, what was the final, where did it end up and when all was said and done?
It ended up in the 5th place. So
okay.
Captain.
Thank you. I try to be aware of these things. So sorry, Bobo, not 42 by a long shot. But thank you for those factoids, Paul. And let's see if any of them factor into our memory mind mode or subsequent roundtable discussion, which once Alice has located our target film.
Alert. Approaching target. Spoilers incoming. Establishing analysis vector.
How did this happen? How the hell did they get Air Force One?
I'm the President of the United States.
The president's plane, Air Force One, has been hijacked.
Experience the motion picture event of the year.
My husband will not negotiate.
Sir, your parachute. I'm not leaving without my family.
Jim isn't making this decision as a president. He's making it as a husband and a father.
Harrison Ford.
Get off my plane!
Air Force One.
She said HE double hockey sticks.
And let's see if we remember this movie as husbands, fathers, or just men. This is our memory mind meld synopsis of Air Force One. Bad guys pose as reporters, board Air Force One, and kill most everyone trying to use President Jones as blackmail. Survivors try to get Decker clear from present danger. Oh my gosh. By taking him to the escape pod, but he doesn't eject. The president has to retake the plane solo. Meanwhile, Pirate from the boo box, is the vice president whom they try to evoke an amendment and assume power. Then we witness Indiana punching the fugitive Gary Oldman and saying, "Get off my plane." Finally, a zip line to win these Patriot games. Wow. I mean, some of that certainly was on point, but unfortunately, some of it was decepted. I don't think they were trying to. They were trying to evoke. I read it wrong. I thought it said revoke an amendment, but no, they were trying to evoke. But who's Decker? I don't know who Decker is. Not Blazing Saddles, Blade Runner. Blazing Saddles, a completely different movie. But based on those memories, as flawed as they were, what range did they lead you to predict for this film before rewatching it? Classic, nostalgic, or tragic? David, let's start with you. What was your prediction before you rewatched it? Classic, awesome. Paul, how about you?
I saw this in the theater and liked it, sort of, yeah, but I haven't seen it since. So I wrote nostalgic.
Nostalgic?
I had any real desire to see it.
Okay. I remember really enjoying this movie when I did see it. So I predicted classic as well, like David. But it'll be interesting to see if those memories, check out, so to speak. But before. I lost my place, and now I'm like, okay, I can still land this plane. I can still go, but now I'm totally forgot where I was. So
wait, was that a 1 count for Edna?
Yes, that's an Edna mode. Welcome, Yoshi, by the way. How are you doing? Yeah, thank you for doing the Edna mode, Paul, or whoever did. Oh, Babo. Yeah, I should have known. Babo's always on point with that.
Babo's on top of things.
Indeed. All right.
That's why he's our Babo.
That's a good point. Playing Fall Guys. Oh, fun, Yoshi. Enjoy. And we're going to be done with Edna mode. Back to the show. So it'll be interesting to see if those predictions came true. But first, let's get into our discussion of the things we liked most about Air Force One. Let's spin up our
Best 3.
top 3 things we liked about Air Force One. Let's start with David, because he's our guest. What's one thing you liked about this film?
I would say the right level of drama with the hostages. Usually when you watch these movies, there's always some, and usually unfortunately it's a woman that is just like screaming bloody murder, and you just want her to please be quiet.
No, I want more. I want more screaming. What'd you say, Paul?
You had emotion, but you didn't have the and you just want to go, please be quiet.
I feel like the one
Shut up.
deputy press secretary person that was showing them around the plane, I feel like she had a couple moments like that. But yeah, I get what you're saying. I feel like you're right that it did have a good level of drama.
Considering the circumstances.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, that was the one thing I was thinking. Yeah, she was crying, but she also had a gun to her head.
Mm-hmm. Indeed. So yeah, a good level of drama. I can totally back that. Paul, do you was that something that made your like list? Was this a good level, good sort of balance of drama with everything else, or?
Yeah, but when I take a step back, I really enjoyed the makings, the basic, I guess, plot of this film.
Yeah,
basically the plot of Die Hard.
It is,
and instead of Die Hard, what's his name? Bruce Willis.
John McClane. John McClane.
Yeah, we're gonna have the president, and let's make the president Harrison Ford.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like. That making right there is like that's hard to go wrong with that.
Yes,
pretty a cool setup.
That's a cool merging or concoction for sure.
Yeah.
That doesn't really have anything to do with my likes, but speaking of concoctions, when you run for president, I assume you always want to have a running mate. Yes, as one does. Everyone runs for president at one point in their lives. No, you want to have a running mate who's going to be your vice president. And I thought Glenn Close was an awesome vice president. I really enjoyed watching what she did with that and how she struggled with like, do I just assume power because he's medically or psychologically unfit to be president. I liked her wrestling with that and just her tension when she was talking to Gary Oldman as the terrorist. And I just really enjoyed her as the vice president. So hats off to Glenn Close. Glad you made it out of the boo-boo box. Let's go back to David. What's something you definitely didn't boo-boo about this movie?
I would also say the humanity of Harrison Ford's character, especially
really?
The scene where he's not he's walking through. Please don't tell me the score. Please don't tell me the score. Please don't tell me the score.
Oh, sure.
The guy tells him the score.
Yeah.
And it's like, just this very,
relatable
guy that, very relatable. You could see you wouldn't be a president today, but you could see him as a very relatable guy, and you could see, okay, he probably, nobody thought he'd win the House, and he won the House, and now he's president. So I really like the way he played that character.
I can totally see that. Yeah, and I definitely did enjoy Harrison Ford overall in this. We're going to get to some comments later, like people saying, I wish he was the president. I can totally get that in some regards, for sure. Paul,
regarding Henry there?
Oh, gosh. Paul, your puns aside, what something else you liked?
Going off the humanity of Harrison Ford as the president, okay, this is gonna sound weird, but
you wish you could dream of Harrison Ford, right?
No, I'm not April O'Neil. For some, and don't take me out of context when I say this. I wrote down smashing Harrison's face. I mean, the struggle looked so real. Like most actors wouldn't want their face smashed against like, the wall or buttons or anything. But
yes.
But it also wasn't very brutal. Like there wasn't blood or like, bruises or anything. But I liked that fine line where it looked like there was a struggle. And it showed I guess to steal David's word, humanity of it, and it made it feel a little more real and visceral.
Yeah. According to the IDB trivia, apparently when it was Gary Oldman and Harrison Ford, they actually hit. They actually did full impact hits for their scenes. So it definitely felt that way. I totally agree with that.
All right, they're going more method. Okay.
Apparently.
Sometimes you got to do what you got to do with those methods.
Exactly. So you guys were speaking to the humanity of Harrison Ford. I'll say my next it speaks to the humanity of some of the other characters, particularly the captain and to some extent the co-pilot in this. So if you guys are, if you remember toward the beginning, if you've seen this movie, the Gary Oldman and his terrorist group are pretty much taking over most of the plane, and they're trying to get into the cockpit. They lock the door behind them, and the captain's like, no matter what, we're gonna land this plane. And they're like getting closer and closer, and you're just nail biting, hoping they touch down and can be down on the ground. And the Gary Oldman and the other guy break in, and they have the guns to the captain's head, and they just keep going. They're not laying up, and you can just see them just like struggling. Like, I don't want to die now, but I got this duty that I'm just gonna see this plane get to the ground. And I just literally started. I wasn't like bawling, but I just could not hold back tears. I was just really struck by that, and just being real, not like I'm fake, but no, being real. I was like talking to my therapist today about that, about like where that was coming from. If you're about to ask where this come from, we sort of explored that, and I think it was something about them sacrificing themselves for a higher purpose that really is like, oh man, that just really spoke to a deep place in my heart. So I think that's where all that emotion came from. And you see. Oh, go ahead.
It had anything to do with your connection of being a pilot?
We're not supposed to speak of that now. maybe. More about that another time, maybe. But yes, it may have. I mean, a helicopter's way different than a whatever this was, 5007. But
it's different than an airplane.
Yes, but I think it was more just their willingness to sacrifice themselves for a greater mission. That even though death was right there, there was no way they were going to escape it for the most part. So that was my other but now that didn't make my classic makers. My classic maker though, what I actually loved most about this film was related to that though. Once the first shots are fired in this, it is just so thrilling. It's unexpectedly thrilling for almost the rest of the movie. And I was not expecting to be so like edge of my seat, even for having seen this before. I was like, oh my God, what's going to happen next? So that was my classic maker, just how the thrill ride of it, and the close calls, and just him sneaking around, Harrison Ford's character President sneaking around and trying to get the people out. All the elements, almost all the elements, I thought worked really well. So
that's interesting because I know I posted that I was watching it earlier this last week, but something happened and I couldn't watch till later in the evening, and it was getting kind of late. And then I saw this movie's over 2 hours, and I was already kind of getting tired. I'm like, oh, all right, let's see, let's at least start it.
Yeah,
and it took once. It was about 15 minutes in, but yeah, once the bullets started flying on the plane, it picked up, and I wrote down my classic maker is the intensity. How it kept that for so long.
Yeah.
I was not expected to stay up that long. I stayed up for the whole movie. Like, I was tired. I was fully engaged.
Yes.
I was not expecting that.
That's awesome.
So,
very cool.
That was my classic. I don't know how they did it. Like, even a lot of times during when the people are in the war room on the ground celebrating different milestones, I'm still like, oh no, there's still stuff going on. They still kept that intensity going, at least for me. So
exactly. Yeah.
I don't know how they did that, but they did a good job of doing it.
I know. I completely agree. But David, I'm curious, was anything with the overall the movie as a whole make for a classic maker for you, or is there something more situational or more minute?
Well, you and Paul touched on a lot of my classic maker already, and that was the performances, especially of the three main cast: Oldman, Ford, and Close.
Yes, absolutely.
And the Oldman playing this very stern, chauvinist, and I'll get more into that in a little while, but chauvinist, idealist, willing to die for his cause, to get this general freed, and willing to kill anybody, men, women, and children, to get this across. Again, I've already mentioned
for Mother
Ford,
Russia,
and I actually have in my notes John McClane and Hans Gruber.
yes,
written down as that's kind of that give and take I saw. And then also Glenn Close, you've already brought up a lot of things, but I have one issue with it that I'll bring up a little bit later.
Okay. Now, that's interesting that you brought up the dynamic of like John McClane to Hans Gruber, as this is similar to this Marshall versus, I don't know, what's Gary Oldman's character's name? Do either of you recall?
I know it's spelled wrong in the final credits.
Oh, is it? Figures. Well, whatever it is, I'm curious, do either of you relate, do you find more sympathy, I guess, for Hans Gruber? I mean, they both kill people to get what they want, but which do you think is a more sympathetic villain of the two of them? All right, neither.
Both off the plane or the building.
Okay, fine. How about for you, David? Do you find...
I kind of have to agree with Paul. I mean, Gruber basically used murder to cover up a heist. And, this guy, Oldman's character, basically, I don't care who I kill. I want my general freed.
Yeah.
So I really can't put sympathy to either one of these.
Too idealistic.
Yes, exactly.
That's where the word extremist comes from.
Or zealot, yeah. I tend to like Hans Gruber, I guess, of the two. Maybe it's just I prefer Alan Rickman Gary Oldman's great, but I think Alan Rickman...
he's more suave, so he's a little more likable in that.
Yeah, I think he has more charisma in that. Yes, exactly. Yeah. All right, just a fun little tangent there. I can't get it.
Another tangent?
I can't. Yeah. Well, I was gonna say I can't get into tangents because I have. See, don't break the fourth wall here, guys. I forgot something else I liked. Strangers and Aliens. This is a conversational podcast and blog that explores the relationship between God and man through the lens of speculative and imaginative fiction. Join Ben Avery, Dr. Jason O'Neill, and Steve McDonald, a trio of Christians who are both fans and creators of story, in their conversation about the intersection of faith and imagination. Find them at strangersandaliens.com.
That's great. But what does that have to do with Air Force One?
Well, the Gary Oldman and the terrorists were strangers to all the people on Air Force One. They didn't know who they were.
Right.
Yeah. So strangers and aliens.
Fighting illegal aliens. They were on their plane illegally. Okay, never mind.
Sure, we'll go with that, Paul. All right, fine. I guess that's
Nice try, Paul. Nice try.
That's a very loose tie-in. But you know what's tied more to Air Force One? Some trivia. Would you like to answer some trivia?
That's great.
All right. So did you all realize that the lead role of the President Marshall was written for Kevin Costner, but he was heavily committed to The Postman, for also 1997, and suggested. I haven't seen The Postman, and I'm not sure if he suggested or someone else suggested Harrison Ford for the part. But if Harrison Ford did not want to play the lead role, then Arnold Schwarzenegger, Keanu Reeves, and Dennis Quaid would be the other choices to play the lead role.
97 Keanu? This is a couple years before Matrix. I think he would be too young.
Well, yeah, think of Speed. I think Speed came out right around this time. I think so too.
Too young.
Yeah.
Dennis Quaid, maybe. I don't know what he looked.
Speed was 95, but I may be wrong.
Dennis Quaid, he was in The Parent Trap around that time, so I think that would fit.
Yeah. And also like The Rookie, I think, a little bit later. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and Arnold Schwarzenegger, I'm sorry. Everybody knows that you're Austrian born.
Yeah, exactly.
Character. So out of those, I would go with Dennis Quaid.
Well, some other options were also Tom Hanks, John Malkovich, and Tommy Lee Jones. So
those are all good, yeah.
Yeah. Now, so my question to you guys is, what actor, man or woman, do you think would make for a great U.S. president on film? Not like a real one.
Man or woman.
Man or woman, yeah. So let's start with David. What actor would you love to see as a president?
I'm going to go old school here. John Wayne.
Oh, yes. I could totally get behind that for sure. Yeah. Wow. Huh. How about you, Paul?
All righty, Pilgrim.
Well, I mean, if you've ever seen any of his war movies, and it wasn't always cowboy.
No, it is always cowboys.
Some of his war movies or Donovan Dreef, with a little bit more an American accent, not American West accent.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I could see that.
A little bit. He still had it. Anyway, to play the president, if the president is just a puppet, as some people say, it's really like the masterminds behind the, what's the old saying? The ringmaster leaves, but it's the same circus.
Oh, sure.
You want the most.
Remember, we're talking about a movie, not like for real. Okay.
Yeah. You want the most charismatic man and the most likable. So I would have to go with the birthday boy himself, Tom Hanks. It's his birthday today.
Oh, really? Cool.
At the recording of this, it's his birthday. So
nice.
I'm surprised he hasn't been the president. Let's put it that way. Maybe even in real life. But anyway, but I'm surprised he hasn't played the president yet.
Yeah.
Who else's birthday is today? I was thinking is the guy from Wonder Years.
Fred Savage? Oh, really?
That would be an interesting.
Yeah.
He's old enough now.
Totally. Yeah.
Comeback role for him. If he had a good role in that, yeah, I think that would work.
Nice. I like it. Very cool. Good answers, guys.
You, Francisco?
Well, I mean, I was going to say someone like George C. Scott, but since you both said men, I was going to try to think of a woman that I think would be a compelling president on film. And I didn't give it enough thought to come up with one right off the. Oh well, no. I mean, she's already sort of been on film as a president, but Mary McDonnell, who played the president in Battlestar Galactica. Oh. I thought she was amazing in that. So
I thought you were going to say Sigourney Weaver.
Back that train up. Sigourney Weaver. Yes. That's another fantastic one. I'd love to see Sigourney as president. I think she'd be great at that.
All right.
Awesome.
Great trivia, Francisco.
Thank you, Paul.
And I have the answer to our last audience question, which again was, who is your favorite X-Men?
Ooh.
Or X-woman or X-thing? So, Kennethan sent us his answer, which was favorite X-Men, Rogue. Always enjoyed her story and sadness of not being able to have human contact.
Totally,
By the way, I don't get the Beast joke either. Once explained, I got it. Did a bit of a chuckle.
Nice.
I don't know what he's talking about either.
Well, we were doing I forget what it was. We were I said they should have referenced Beauty and the Beast, and I gave those years for Beast.
Yeah. And he goes on to say, I'm too young to have worked on the World War II B-17, smiley face. And who do you think?
And who would think
who would think a DeLorean looks like an airplane? I've never thought nor heard that before.
Yeah,
right?
Just in that movie, it doesn't.
Back to the Future.
While we're talking about DeLoreans, have you ever noticed on the main poster, the poster you see everywhere for Back to the Future?
Oh, how it's angled.
And the car's angled weird. It's like the side, but they skew it. It's always bothered me. I don't know why they did that. Anyway.
Yeah, but anyway.
This is Back to the Future.
Let's get back to this episode and this episode's listener question, which is, which actual U.S. president would fill in this blank?
Would you like to see in a film, be a movie?
What actual U.S. president would you like to see in a film?
Yeah.
So like one who's actually been president. Ronald Reagan can't be one of them because he was.
Yeah, because he was on film. Exactly.
Okay.
So any other U.S. president you'd like to actually see in film? They could be portraying themselves. They could be portraying someone else. Could be like a undercover boss if you want. I don't know, whatever you want. But
well, if you're putting television shows, then you have to eliminate Trump.
Oh yeah, good point. Yeah,
he's been in a lot of films,
and he's been movies also. Yeah. So someone who hasn't been in a film. And Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter doesn't count as the actual Abraham Lincoln. I'm talking about the actual Abraham Lincoln.
If you would like to see actual Abraham Lincoln fighting vampires, then I guess
that would be fine. Yes. Abraham Lincoln is Van Helsing. Now that we have all had some trivial fun, let's find out what memories you, our awesome rewinders, had about Air Force One. Patrick Edwards says,
"Wait. Where do they send their answers?"
Oh,
this question.
Oh, you want to actually send us your answers? Oh, well, I guess if you'd like to send those to trivia@retrorewindpodcast.com by the time we record our next episode, which usually gives you a week and a couple days. And that's how you can send us your answer to what actual U.S. president would you like to see in a movie in whatever part you want. All right. Trivia@retrorewindpodcast.com. Now, let's get off the trivial tidbits and back to Air Force One with the memories you guys had. Not the memories. Yeah, the memories you guys had about this film. Patrick Edwards says, obvious terrorist squad looks like terrorists. Yep, I could see that.
Kevin Joshua Burnham says, Harrison Ford says, get off my plane. Clint Eastwood says, get off my lawn. Vincent Schiavelli says, get off my train. And Joe Biden says, get off. Well, that's why I love America.
Dustin Warford says, the president's Secret Service was full of bad shots, and don't ever admit to being the National Security Advisor. You'll get executed. Fair point.
True. Steve Hamilton says, I really enjoy the phone call to the White House switchboard and the layout of that set. I enjoyed Air Force One's ugly cousin called Executive Decision.
Wow.
He enjoyed it more, but
you didn't ask about that
movie. Yeah. So I'll compare it to the newest version, which is Olympus Has Fallen.
Yeah, Olympus Has Fallen was fine. I thought it was fine. Nathan James Norman says, after watching it, I remember my mom saying, I wish we had a president like that.
Too bad. He's got a broken arm. Anyway.
Wow.
Celeste Morris says, I love this movie. I would totally vote for him as our president.
Yeah. Jeff W. Eames says, get off my plane. Boom.
Wardell White says, Harrison Ford continued to be a great action hero. He proves to be quite the super president as he stands up against baddies led by Gary Oldman. Meanwhile, Glenn Close and Dean Stockwell are downstairs back home having their power struggle. I didn't think it was all that great, but I enjoyed it.
And then Alex Ortiz says, sir, I have orders to take you first. My family first. Moments later. Okay, sir, you're next. Him next. He's wounded. Just go. You threw your little fit and your family got to go first. There's no way I'm letting this dying man go before the president. That's very fair. But Alex's comment kind of leads us into the things we disliked about Air Force One. Let's get to our... Yeah.
Sorry.
That's fine. Do you need...
I'm so sorry.
That's okay. David, if you want to take 5 minutes, I was going to pause anyway, Paul, so you're good.
I stepped over your line too quickly. I'm sorry.
No, I'm just noticing my phone. The thing just popped up, says, this phone call ends in 5 minutes. I don't know. Did you...
Is this for the Google?
I'm looking. Oh, let's see. Oh, your call ends in 3 minutes. Upgrade to Google Workspace Individual to... Oh, my gosh. Okay. then I'm going to restart a new one while we're here in Edna mode, and you guys can just join it again.
We can still hear him.
Yeah, it hasn't ended yet. I have 3 minutes. Your call ends in 3 minutes.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So let me start another one. Okay, Google Meets. I'm better than you, and I know it. Okay, Globo Gym Google Meets. Let's see. Meets.google.com. So I'm going to close out of this, guys, and I'll send you a new link on Facebook and Discord. So hang tight.
I'm hanging.
Copy. Facebook. Let's see. Thank you all in chat, by the way, for hanging tight. Yes, thank you for that, Nemo, by the way. David, come on, do this. Go here, and then Paul. Give them to him on Discord right there. So we'll wait for them to join. Come on. Come on, Schwartz. Come on, Schwartz. Come on, Schwartz. You can do it, Schwartz. Do the thing. Do it. Do it now. Get to the chopper. Just realized I shouldn't like strain my voice with Arnold right now. Not a good idea. Admit, Paul. Can you hear me, Paul?
Yes. Can I interrupt you now?
Yes, you can interrupt me now, I suppose.
Yes,
if you must.
Interrupting.
Wow. Baba says, blah, blah, blah. I'm Google Meet. I had one job, blah, blah, blah. Phone calls are smelly. I hate people who eat veggies, blah, blah, blah. That sounds like it's from Captain Underpants. And my kids really enjoy watching that on Netflix. And their principal is like, blah, blah, blah. It's kind of funny.
The movie?
Well, we watched the movie. I didn't like I guess I was so used to the voice actors from the Netflix series.
The cartoon beforehand? They didn't use the same voices, though.
They didn't use the same. Yeah. And so that was annoying because I was like so used to the cartoon ones.
Because I think Kevin Hart was in the movie.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
I haven't seen the TV show, and I actually enjoyed that movie.
Yeah, I think you'd enjoy the TV show. Like my kids, I don't usually watch it, but I'm hearing it in the background, and I think, and Sean Astin is the narrator in the series, which I always enjoy.
Like Bob from Stranger Things.
Yes, because he sounds Sean Astin. Can you hear us, David?
He changes his voice a little bit for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
I guess it's closer to, it's like in between, I guess. Yeah, I'd say it's closer to his real voice. He definitely inflects a lot, but
that's good.
Or emphasizes, whatever. Can you hear us, David?
You hear me?
Yes. Can you hear us?
I can hear you.
Okay, fantastic.
I can hear you.
Cool. We're going to continue.
Resuming our broadcast day?
Yes, we're going to resume now. All right. I'll get back to my notes.
Sounded like a 3-second delay.
Well, hopefully it will improve, Paul.
All right.
Only do what we can do. All right. End of Edna mode.
Really?
Here we go.
How many times have we heard that and it wasn't? So
it doesn't help that you're messing up or messing it up.
Of course. So I forgot where I was interrupting you because I just do it so often. But
I was just gonna restart. Our Alex's comment gets us right into our next section.
Okay. Sounds good.
I feel like Alex's little critique there of Marshall's or Harrison Ford character state of mind, it leads us pretty much into the things we didn't like about Air Force One. So let's get to our
worst 3.
The worst 3 things about this film that we all agreed beforehand were the same 3. No, we all have different ones, probably, or they may be the same. But let's start with Paul this time. What's one thing you did not like about Air Force One?
Oh my gosh, there are so many little technical things.
Let me guess. Let me guess.
No.
Blue text on the background.
Well, I'll tell you what. that, as boring as that is, Jerry Goldsmith came in with a great patriotic score.
That's
so
true. Yes.
I almost give that credit.
All right.
But no, like technically, when you're coming in and starting off a movie with invading troops and they're parachuting at night to sneak in a building, they're not going to use white parachutes to stand out in the middle of the night sky.
That's a great point. I never thought about that. Yeah.
They're not going to use night vision when it's that bright. Even though it's night, there's still a lot of light around. They're not going to use... There's a lot of little things like this. I could probably do a half-hour spiel of how many technical things that wouldn't work right in this movie.
Yeah. I get that.
Kind of frustrating.
No, I completely get that. I did notice some things like that. For me, for instance, I said to one of the F-15 pilots, "Well, have you never seen Top Gun? He like shoots a missile right when he's right behind the MiG." I'm like, Top Gun says I'm too close for missiles. Switching to guns. I mean, come on. I'm sure that's legit air dogfighting.
Yeah, I don't see why not.
But no, that's totally fair, Paul. David, were there little technical details like that for you that bothered you, or was something else? Did something else make your dislike list?
Well, Paul started and I'm just going to completely finish it. That initial capture scene.
Oh, you just didn't like it at all.
I did not like it at all. First of all, pinpoint accuracy while you're parachuting.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I know these guys are trained professionals, but still,
Yeah. 360
that laser
no scope
dot does not move, even though the person should be moving.
Yeah.
What kind of security did this president have that like they had encountered no resistance till they got to the bedroom door?
Yeah, they were 3 floors below by the time that the responders came.
I don't know. Maybe he just thought he was not impenetrable, but impervious to anything like that. I don't know. No.
Hey, how about those explosives going right off exactly when they needed them to, but they planned it like 2 minutes beforehand. Like, how did they know the exact second? Like, if they tripped, they were dead.
Well, that's why you don't have Orlando Bloom come in and help you with your operation.
Is that a Lord of the Rings?
No, it's a Black Hawk Down reference.
I need to watch that again.
Yes, maybe it should be nominated.
Yeah, definitely.
For sure. Come on. So as for me, as much as let's see. So this, I don't know what to say about this. I guess I think we all appreciated Harrison Ford as the president. But I gotta say, and you guys were talking about his humanity earlier, and I can see that, but something about him rubbed me the wrong way in that when it came to his family, he was super. I totally buy into how he responded to the terrorists and everything surrounding his family. But it's like that one guy gets shot in front of him, other people die around him. Not like when he's like hiding and stuff. I get why he can't come out and stuff, but when people are like dying around him, he doesn't seem to bat an eye. I know he was in combat and all that, but he was a pilot. He wasn't necessarily a foot soldier on the ground. So
this is war, people.
Casualties are inevitable. You cannot make a novel without breaking eggs. Every cook will tell you that.
Right. He's seen action.
All right. I don't know. It just seemed like he didn't have any like. I wanted him to at least have like some glance or some moment of like, oh man, I hate that this guy died or that gal died. I don't know. It just didn't seem like he was connected with anyone else on the crew except for his family. So that was a dislike for me. I mean, and maybe you need that type of distance, but still, it bothered me. Let's go to David again. What was something else you disliked about this film?
Lackadaisical Russian terrorists.
How are they lackadaisical?
Sleep on the plane at the beginning?
Oh.
Hold on 1 second. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Sure.
Hang on. Hold on 1 second.
Just don't shoot the lackadaisical dog barking. Because it'll upset Francisco that you're not concerned for the dog as much as your own family.
We're named after the dog. They brought that up again this episode, didn't they? Didn't I catch them saying that?
I didn't.
Indiana, like he's from Indiana. Oh, that's where. Yeah, he's.
I know they mentioned Indiana, but I thought that was just with his name, not a reference to the dog.
Yeah, no, I think one of them said, "Isn't that a state?" No, it's actually named after the dog or something.
Oh.
Maybe I don't know. I won't tell you what speed I put on. I tried subtitles. They are wonky because they're auto generated, and it would cover up when they would put actual subtitles for people speaking foreign languages, and so I couldn't see what they were saying. So I disabled it.
No. Hey, talk to me later, and I can show you a way how you can view it with subtitles, but you can't watch it at 2x speed.
Who's to say I watched it at 2x speed this time?
You?
Are you talking Air Force One or Young Indiana Jones?
Young Indiana
Jones, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So did you even start your dislike, David, or no, not yet?
I'm gonna start.
Hey, Kennethan. Okay, that's fine.
Lackadaisical Russian terrorists. You're telling me you couldn't hear the scuffle below, and the one time when he went down the dumbwaiter, I watched this guard. He's just like, oh, I'm just looking around. Your comrade just died, and you're just kind of like, I'm looking at the flowers. And also,
hey, he's good under pressure. He's relaxed.
And Gibbs.
Oh, Gibbs.
You're hearing that there's a Secret Service agent, and you killed all the Secret Service agents. There shouldn't be any Secret Service agents. Why aren't you letting the guy who's hopefully paying you know, hey, that's not a Secret Service agent. I killed them all.
Well, no, wasn't he working for the terrorists though? Why would he? Yeah. Oh, why doesn't he tell Gary Oldman that? Well, he's in the briefing room with everyone else, so I don't think he really gets a chance to.
Yeah, but like it doesn't ding with him. Hey, I killed all the Secret Service agents. Where there is no Secret Service agent, who's downstairs?
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know. Maybe there was one he just may have missed, and apparently he didn't care so much about these people he worked with for who knows how many years to just kill him out of cold blood. And do we even find out why he did that? Like, was he going to get money or anything? I don't think we ever got a motivation for why he did what he did.
Well, he wanted the president dead because he could have just let like William H. Macy go and like he could live on with his life and no one would know for the better.
Yeah. So I don't get why he did it.
That up to kill his motivation was to kill the president, obviously.
I guess so.
Why we don't know.
I guess he needs to go take lessons from John Malkovich or something.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's an In Line of Fire with Clint Eastwood reference, Paul. Okay. Paul, what's something else you didn't like about this movie, Air Force One?
I don't know if I should try to clump these together, but there's so much wrong with this movie.
Well, is something that's wrong with this movie something that Kennethan brought up that in an actual...
I'll get to that later.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Then never mind. I'll wait. Then continue.
Yeah. Did any of you mind the wire bit? Like, hey, you got a 1 in 4 chance to dumping the plane, or a 3 in 4 chance to killing everybody, including your family that you're so desperately want to save. The Russian roulette odds are much greater than this, and you're like, red, white, and blue. I'm going to make a patriotic joke and save the day because I'm a writer and I think it's
cool. You're talking about the electrical wires. I thought you were talking about the gasoline. Okay, I thought you were talking about the wire at the end where they connected the two planes with a wire. That's where. Okay,
I think that's fine.
Okay,
There's one connection to one. That's a 1-to-1 connection. I get that. But they said, look, if you cross the wrong wire, you're dead. And he's like, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and do it. He doesn't change the plan.
I mean, he has a lot of luck. He rolls a lot of natural 20s in this. So I mean, I think that's just another one of them.
Yeah. Yeah,
that's a D&D reference, Paul.
Too convenient.
Yeah, too convenient. I could see how that'd be annoying.
Yes, it could happen, but why is somebody willing to jeopardize that?
That's fair. Good point. I mean, maybe if it seemed like he had a lot of awesome talents already, So it seems like silly to add another one, but if he could, they could have said something about like electrical engineering or something that he'd have some intuition about it. That would be nice. Yeah.
Yeah, but no. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and do it. Just plow through it.
Okay.
You know what? I don't like it when they don't follow their own rules. They said, "Hey, the president could be changed under duress." Well, then change the president because, like, oh, here's the guy on the phone. Like, hey, I got the first lady here. No, you don't, because he's not the president. Therefore, she's not the president anymore. And haven't you heard? We don't negotiate. So, boom, there goes the plane. But no, apparently, we're gonna make a big deal about not negotiating, but then we're going to go ahead and negotiate through the entire film.
Yeah, that was annoying.
I know there's a lot.
You want to refuel? Okay, I guess.
Yeah, and by the way, the U.S. has had a policy of not negotiating, and then all of a sudden you're going to say it, and we're going to make a big deal about it at the beginning. Oh, what are you doing? You're starting up a frenzy in the press. We've only followed that policy for 25 years plus.
No, it wasn't the no negotiating with terrorists that was the issue. That was that they're going to go after terrorists preemptively. I think that was the issue that was causing the frenzy.
Maybe, but they put a lot of emphasis on the negotiating and non-negotiating that it didn't line up to what was going on.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I get that, Paul. That I could totally see why that would bother someone, including yourself. Something that bothered me, including myself. That's a weird way of putting that. I did not care for the actress who played the First Lady. I mean, she was I guess I just didn't connect with her at all. I don't know what it was about that.
It wasn't because she wasn't Princess Leia.
No.
Marion or Willie.
What are you saying right now? No, I mean
other Harrison Ford movies.
Oh, jeez, Louise. Okay, thank you. Yeah, I get it now. No, and I don't know if she. And I'm going to go back to Mary McDonnell, who played the First Lady in Independence Day. And I loved her in that much better. I don't know if she would have played well opposite Harrison Ford, because I know we want to have chemistry. I didn't necessarily see a lot of chemistry between Harrison Ford and this actress.
There just wasn't a lot of chemistry.
That could be it. I feel like she did the job. I didn't feel like I feel like you could have replaced her with pretty much a lot of other actresses, and it would have just been the same. There was nothing unique that I guess she brought to it. From what I'm not an actor, so I don't know the intricacies or the nuance to performances that you might get with person A versus person B. But for whatever reason, I would prefer someone else. So that was something else I disliked.
Do you think the daughter did okay? Because you usually hate like kids who are not obedient.
I vacillated with the daughter. Some moments I thought it was really good. How she and Harrison Ford's him as her dad was. I thought that worked well. I felt like she is almost I was gonna say I feel like she was responding a little too adult at times, especially in the face of the terrorists. But if you're the daughter of the president, I could see that being something that you would sort of, not necessarily that you think that's going to happen, but you have to be a bit more grown up anyway. Ideally, you grew up a bit more in that type of environment, but I don't know. So she didn't bother me. I thought she was fine. She bothered me less than the First Lady. But I'm getting too much into actors I didn't like. I'd rather get back to you guys, and let's go into our tragic makers. The worst parts about Air Force One, the parts that needed to crash and burn in this movie, or crash and burn the movie for you, I should say. David, what did you hate most about this film?
Well, continuing on with your tradition of anybody could have played this, I loved Glenn Close's role, but the way they wrote the character, you could have stuck anybody in there. It didn't have to be a female. The only thing that would have changed would have been the blouse comment.
I was just about to say that. Yeah, they'd have to change the blouse line.
The only thing that would have to change is the blouse comment. You could stick a guy or a girl and except for changing the blouse comment, you could have the same thing said of any of these vice presidents. Now, did she do a good job with the role? She did an awesome job with the role, especially towards the end when she actually took charge and was like, no, we are going to do this. Is how we're going to do this.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Like
go ahead.
everybody's like, oh, you need to talk to me. You don't need to talk to the vice president. The vice president can't even get their own plane tickets. They have to go through us.
Oh yeah, well that's why he got shot.
Yeah.
There's this one moment where Glenn Close said something to I can't remember if it was the Russian president or Dean Stockman's character. She like said like, do it or exactly or something, and I'm like, yes, you tell him, Glenn. So there was she had, I guess I'll say for lack of a better word, hero moments. I guess I could see what you're saying though, that her character could be replaced with someone else. I don't know if that. So do you feel like her as the performer didn't bring more to the role that someone else couldn't have equally brought?
I think she did she brought herself to the role. I don't think the role
was underwritten.
The role didn't rise up to her. You had
okay.
nominee actress, and like you could have done so much more with this character, but then you really didn't. You like I said, you could have put a B-list actor in this and had it, but here you have this A-list actress, and you didn't give her everything that you could have until the very end.
Yeah. Do you think it would have been better if she had more of a fatal attraction toward Gary Oldman? I'm hilarious. I think I see what you're saying there, David, and I can understand that for sure. Paul, was there a particular character that you felt the character didn't rise up to the level of the actor, or vice versa, or did something else make your tragic maker?
You have Dean Stockwell in here.
Stockwell, that's who it is. Yes.
From Quantum Leap, and Ziggy doesn't show up, and
oh my gosh,
I'm so disappointed.
Seriously, Paul. Seriously.
No, not seriously.
Yeah, I was so disappointed that he didn't turn into Mark Hamill's Joker. What was up with that? Come on.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
But getting back to...
Of course you have that.
Yeah,
Air
of
Force
course.
One. This is a movie about planes, and maybe I've seen Top Gun and a few other movies, or even
Airplane! Exclamation point. Oh yeah.
How they move, and they don't kind of float near it. It's just, I could totally tell that was all CG,
early CG. Yeah.
And I think the calibrating was off, especially like it looked really bad, or at least the effects didn't hold up during the plane crash. I'm not talking about the physics. I'm talking about just the look of the plane. You can obviously tell that was
like when it hit the water and sort of did this weird spin around. Yeah, totally.
So, but there are many shots throughout the film of the planes moving, or the jet fighters around the plane, and it's like, oh, they're swerving like UFOs would. Like,
yeah.
This grand turn, like. Now I know that jets can turn they can do quick turns, but not the way that they were doing.
Yeah, and I think it's hard to beat the cinematography of Top Gun, and with real footage of real airplanes. I don't know how you top that unless you go out and actually film real airplanes. But
just to get the physics, it's the way they move. Like you don't have to shoot it, but you can use them as references.
Yeah, that's true. But I still think back then the CG wasn't good enough to fool you that these were CG planes, I guess is what I was trying to say. So the lack of realistic physics just was like poop frosting on top. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, was that the completeness of your tragic maker, Paul, or was there something else to add to that? Okay.
No.
Well, then that leaves mine, which is, I think me and Paul commented on this, and I think you agreed also, David, that the pacing and the intensity of this movie was great. And it was for almost all of it. I'd say, a little bit at the beginning, it was a little slow, but I mean, they're setting up the characters. That's fair. But after Gary Oldman dies and you have the get off my plane, that great moment, I felt like after that is kind of like just the movie lingered on too long. You had
Gibbs. You got to take Gibbs.
You did, but I don't know. I just
get him off the plane.
I felt like it was, and maybe if there was a good reason for why he was still around to begin with, or what he was like waiting for, or what have you, it would have made more sense and close out a bit better. But I wish they would have found a different way to wrap up, because Gary Oldman was the big bad. I didn't like that we were still like in this movie for another 20 minutes or maybe even 30 minutes waiting to end it after the big bad's gone. So,
so life is taking too long.
Oh my gosh.
Would it have been better maybe to switch Gibbs and Gary Oldman's character's death? Like have him be at the very end and
absolutely. Yes, I think so for sure. Yeah, and then you do a quick make it more similar to Die Hard. I don't care. You kill off Gary Oldman, you think, then you kill Gibbs, and then Gary Oldman comes back, a la the blonde guy in Die Hard, and you have to have maybe then Gibbs has a redemptive moment and kills him before he dies. Because I would have liked that for Gibbs to have been redeemed in some way.
No, there's too much death that he caused.
All right, but you can still have someone who causes a lot of death come back and have a redemptive moment. That doesn't make them what they did.
No, it's too late to change.
Fine. Oh, okay, Paul. Yeah, okay, all right.
No grace for you.
Wow. But that's the thing that I didn't like. I felt like after, it was a great ride, and then the last however many minutes was just like, all right, let's go. But now that we've entered all our trajectories into the firing computer, Alice, do you have a firing solution for us?
Firing solution complete. Rating salvo at the ready. On your mark.
Do we rate Air Force One a classic? Would recommend anyone go out and see this film, whether or not they've seen it before. A nostalgic, it's worth your time to revisit if you remember enjoying it as a kid, young adult. Or is it now I just realized, would kids have been watching this R-rated? Well, maybe, but, or is it a tragic, it's not worth anyone's time today. If you've never seen it, keep it that way. And if you have seen it and have fond memories of it, if you rewatch it, you will sully those memories. So disregard rewatching this film. Let's start with our guest, David. What was your final rating for Air Force One? You predicted classic. Did that hold true?
I'm going to keep it at a classic. I really enjoyed this movie.
Nice.
I would love to add it to my collection after Backlog Golf gets over.
Nice.
But I'm going to keep it at a classic.
Very good. Paul, you predicted nostalgic. Is it still nostalgic after seeing it or no?
Unfortunately, no. I'm going to have to change my rating to a classic.
Oh, I thought you were going to say tragic. I'm like, whoa, out of left field there.
Yeah. No, it kept me on my edge of not the edge of my seat, but it kept me awake and interested in that. So it's not every day a movie can do that. So good on you, Air Force One.
Awesome.
I recommend it to anybody.
Yeah, for me as well. I mean, the last few minutes, especially if it's like your first time watching it, I think that's still going to breeze by. You're still going to be wanting to see what happens with these characters. I don't think it's a movie to watch like every year or anything like that, but every once in a while for sure. So I would also rate it a classic. So according to the Retro Rewind podcast, we rate Air Force One a unanimous classic film. We recommend anyone go see this, whether or not you've seen it before. But now it's time to get back to our own time. Good old 20XX.
20XX?
Comsat online. Receiving incoming transmission.
Ooh, it feels good to be back, but we wouldn't have been able to travel back to 1997 to begin with if it weren't for our amazing reflux capacitors, namely Jared Holzhauer, Deborah Powers, Brian Keane, Patrick Hicks, LJ Lowry, Chris Cowan, Chris Owens, Geek Devotions, The Untold Podcast, James Kennison, Drew of the Cellcast, Ashley Cronenbitter, Pastor Dewson, Kennethan, Redeemed Otaku, Ryan Lingle, That's Our Bobo, Josh Adams, D. Tungsten, Andy Lewis, Jeff, Little Ronan, The Dapper Man Reviews, Tony from the Retro Days, in addition to 8 other awesome patrons as well. Thank you all so much for keeping the gigawatts coming. And if you want to help us keep flying for as little as $1 a month and get bonus content for your generosity, head over to retrorewindpodcast.com/support to help us grow via Patreon, Subscribestar, or PayPal.
This stream is sponsored by PaulJPowers.com.
And while we're thanking our supporters, we also want to give a big presidential hug to David Gardner for
Indeed.
supporting us with his thoughts about Air Force One tonight. So, David, where can people find you online? And is there anything cool you got going on that people should know about?
You can find me at Enthutheist, ENTHUTHEIST, on Twitter and Instagram. Right now, we are in the middle. I am part of the Enthutheist Devotional Podcast, and right now we are in the middle of our Lessons from the Lantern Corps, where we're looking at some of the Lantern Corps oaths. And this Sunday's episode, I am really excited because I've got a couple of guests coming on.
Ooh!
And I'm really looking forward to this upcoming episode.
Awesome. So this will probably come out after you release that episode. What episode number is that people should check out?
Oh, you would ask, and I'm not sure. It's in the early 80s. It's going to be something to the effect of something about In Whose Name. That's going to be the name of the episode, In Whose Name.
Awesome.
So check out that episode and more.
Indeed. And thank you again, David, so much for being a guest. And a hearty thanks to those of you listening for the first time. And of course, all of you who are a part of our Rad Rewinder community. You all who watch us live every week, whether we're recording this podcast or playing retro games, or you're all an amazing group of people helping sustain the pod. But if you are looking for ways to get involved in growing this Retro Rewind endeavor, reach out to us on social media, where we are at Retro Rewind Pod, pretty much everywhere. You could buy some of our merch, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or Podchaser. You could become a monthly patron, or simply just share your favorite episode of the podcast. You love the Matrix episode, you love the Jurassic Park episode, you love this episode, wherever it is, share it with a friend so that more people can enjoy the content of the Retro Rewind Pod.
We will never negotiate. We will no longer tolerate, and we will no longer be afraid. It's your turn to be afraid.
And it's your turn to be listening to retrorewindpodcast.com/230. That's what you're listening to right now.
Whoa.
Our review of Air Force One. That's with me, your XO, PaulJPowers.com. And you can find all my social media links online by visiting PaulJPowers.com.
Thank you for being an amazing friend. Awesome again to be XO/vice president of this pod. It's such a fun voyage sailing with you, Paul. I have been and continue to be the captain of the pod, Francisco Ruiz. Find me on Twitter at FXRetro_, especially if you need pixel artwork commissioned.
And we're honored to be a part of the Christian Geek Central Network at ChristianGeekCentral.com. Go ahead.
Thank you, XO. And thank you, XO. And thank you all for listening. We pray you are more joyful now than when you first hit play. But like a Pokemon, we gotta catch you all for Time Bandits, our next episode of the Retro Rewind Podcast.
Retro Rewind mission complete. Proceed to nav point Omega.
I get it. You're out of time, Paul.
Base.
You know what? Reviewing a Harrison Ford movie in the middle of a long stretch of reviewing the Indiana Jones trilogy during our Christmas episodes makes me, miss reviewing Indy.
Well, let's do the next best thing. Review Young Indiana Jones.
Then it is something that man was not meant to disturb. Trust me.
Are you making this up as you go along?
Yeah?
You don't believe me. You will, Dr. Jones.
Mission accomplished. Full throttle. No break.
Those people are trying to kill us. I know, Dad! It's a new experience for me. Happens to me all the time.
Yes, welcome to another installment of our Young Indiana Jones, the Young Adventures, the Adventures of Young Indiana Jones, the Young Adventures of Indiana Chronicle Jones, where we're going through each episode of the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles, Adventures of Young Indiana Jones Chronicles, as in between our Christmas episodes of the three Indiana Jones movies. So, Paul, which Indiana Jones episode are we covering tonight, and any other technical aspects pertain to it?
Yes. So tonight's review is of Chapter 17, titled Masks of Evil. It combines two previously aired episodes, Istanbul, September 1918, and Transylvania, January 1918. So, can you surmise the plot in one sentence? Is something happening? I missed something. Hello?
I think the dates just got him because the dates are switched.
Yeah. Well, no, they originally, that's how they originally aired. And then during this remastering of these and combining them, they switched the dates around, and so that one flowed after they changed it up.
Yeah. I'll get into that in a little bit.
Okay.
So,
sorry.
That's okay. No, the dates didn't really flummox me at all. I was just attending to something else. Yes, but I would like to try to do my one sentence summary of both episodes. I forget. Do I get one sentence per episode or one sentence total?
I think I don't remember, but I'll let you do one sentence per.
Okay. Thank you. All right. So for the first episode, Indy is part of his Belgian-French spy network, and there's a mole or a double agent inside his inner circle that he's trying to find out who it is. In the midst of that, he gets engaged, or he asks a woman to marry him, and of course, by the end of it, she dies. So they don't get married, obviously. That's the first episode. Then the second episode, Indy apparently gets over his grief and has to go with a colonel that he admires, another spy, to Transylvania to figure out why some spies went missing, or spies are working for the Germans or something like that. And they run into someone who's posing posing as Dracula.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a run-on, but decent.
Yeah, that's a pretty good summary. Yeah.
Thank you. So, guys, let's just do quick, the best thing you liked about either both episodes or one of the episodes. Let's start with David. What's one thing you liked about the episodes as a whole, or one or the other of them?
I kind of liked the fact that Indy is still not polished. He's not Dr. Jones yet, especially in the Istanbul episode. He makes mistakes, but he's still, he's not Dr. Jones yet, where he will be.
Right.
But he's very, but you can see the little things of, okay, he's starting to become Dr. Jones.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's
absolutely.
The hat, right? He takes that thing everywhere.
You'd think.
In fact, he recovers the hat.
Yeah.
You'd think people would recognize him by now. Oh, that's a spy. He has that one hat, that fedora. Oh goodness. Paul, how about you? What's something? Is it how he's become more like Indy that you liked, or something else?
Yeah, I like the first half in Istanbul, where he was a lot of the spy stuff. It wasn't as actiony as some of the other ones, but there was mystery, and it's like who was after him, and there was that mystery about it that I liked. So that was intriguing more than the second half.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting, because I actually preferred the second half because it felt more. Really? It had more of the mysticism that I come to equate with Indiana Jones, and you didn't know what was going on. And there's still unanswered questions. I wish there was a little bit more answers by the end of it, but and I thought it was interesting that he was going up against someone that was essentially Dracula. and not quite sure how to face that. And I wonder, I gotta wonder if that was a Halloween episode, because it seemed like it would have been perfect for that time of. It wasn't.
It was not a Halloween episode.
It should have been.
In fact, it didn't even air in America, according to what I read.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Lucas, get your act together over here. But it was, so if it had come out at that time, I think that would have been perfect. But yeah, so my what I really liked about this was just the second episode that felt more Indiana Jones, and that there was some mystical mystery that he had to sort of unravel, even though he didn't really by the end of it. David, what's something you really didn't like about this? I forget. Have you seen Young Indiana Jones before or not?
I saw some of the kid ones in the original run when they originally were on TV, and I've watched one for the podcast.
Oh,
Ghost Train.
Oh, that was a good one. Yes.
For the pod. And the one thing I didn't like was I didn't like the second episode. I mean, it was and I noticed, none of them ever said the word Dracula, even though the book had come out by the time Indiana Jones.
I wondered about that. Had Bram Stoker's come out by then? Oh, okay.
I don't know.
But I mean, it had already. First of all, it was an Irishman who wrote it, so Deaf Man doesn't get on to me. But so it was in English, so there was no translation weight. But it's just, they tried to do every horror trope you could do.
Yes.
And some of it was kind of cheesy,
in
my opinion.
I get that for sure. Yeah. How about you, Paul? What? Wow. What didn't work for you most of all across these two episodes?
I'm gonna have to agree with David. Well, the entire series has to do with Indiana Jones interacting with historical things that actually happened. This second one felt like it didn't happen, unless there was a POW camp that was mysteriously kidnapped and moved up to Transylvania, and they found him later. This one didn't have any historical significance, or at least impact of that time.
That's fair.
Felt like it was pushed and shoved into this mold, and a lot of it didn't make scientific sense. At least I guess it doesn't have to. The movies don't really, now that I think about it.
Yeah, they not really. I mean, the Ark and the Holy Grail are, or at least, well, the Ark is a historical artifact, maybe somewhere, I don't know, but yeah.
At least in the trilogy, those are explained. Like, this is the power behind it. Where this one, it isn't explained. The power behind
exactly.
it.
Yeah. Yes. Which that is very annoying. It's like, is he the actual Dracula? Is he not? Yeah, I wish there was some closure to that. It just goes to the black and white credits. I'm like, all right, we're done. Great. Yeah. Thanks for that.
I saw the ghost appear in the sky.
Oh, that was. I didn't know what to make of that. I was like, oh, I guess so. It was. I don't know, but the thing.
Don't think he was Dracula. I think I call him Dracula 2.0.
Okay.
He was he was another person that decided to do the Vlad Tepes thing of impaling people, become a vampire, but he was not Vlad Tepes Dracula.
The Dracula spirit was in him, and that was what was released after this.
He was possessed by Dracula.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Well, that actor would go on to shoot her as the.
Is that really? That's that actor?
I didn't recognize him with the.
Yeah, me either.
Front buck teeth.
Right? Oh my gosh.
Either.
Wow.
Wow. Good eye. Or good research.
Greed research.
Nice.
So for me, the thing that I thought just did not work was I could not get into that first episode at all. It was just like, what is going on? And
got engaged too quickly.
Maybe that's what it was, but there was I think I knew right away who the mole was. I think it's that guy who pushed the one guy off the building, right? He kept trying to get him off the building. I think that was the guy. And it's like, okay, so that's him.
Couldn't tell.
See, you weren't paying attention either because it didn't matter because that was a dumb episode.
Because a lot of them was in shadows and they didn't really focus. They didn't make the group of the guys unique enough. Like, okay, this one is this.
That's that's a good point.
So
that's a good point.
Yeah.
And also, before you, go ahead, David.
I thought like it was telegraphed too. Like when he gets the special telegram that he puts that ink roll over to get only certain letters.
Yeah.
That when the guy didn't burn it, I thought, okay, he must not be good. So that's something I noticed.
Yeah.
Was that the same guy?
Yeah, I think so.
I think so. Yeah.
I believe you. I'm not going to rewatch it.
Okay. Yeah, it was just I did not care for it, and I was gonna say something to your point, Paul, that there wasn't anything super identifiable about all of them. They're all sort of similar, and yeah, they're a lot in the shadows. But I can't remember what it was now. But it was to that point, and I agree, it was hard to tell.
I'm glad you like my point.
Great. So now we don't have a final range for these sort of end of episode reviews, but if based on just watching this episode of the Young Chronicles of Indiana Jones Adventures, would you want to watch the next episode, or would you be like, no, I'm out, I'm done? David, what say you?
If they had been in chronological order, I would say absolutely. But since they were in the order they were, I'd say they're jumping the shark.
Got it. Fair.
No, they redid the order, so this is now the chronological order. In fact,
right.
Well, that's what they mean. Like they changed the year. Anyway, one of the ideas, with this sorry, Francisco, with this new Indiana Jones movie coming out, people are speculating if he's going to lose his eye, because the Chronicles of Young Indiana Jones had it booked each episode bookended
with him like old Indiana, right?
Old Indiana Jones with an eye patch. But because George Lucas remastered these and took out the old man, people are wondering if that's no longer canon anymore. So anything could happen. But anyway, go ahead.
And actually, the Transylvania episode was the last episode that the old Indy appeared in.
Yeah. Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That was never aired.
Wow.
Anyway, would I watch it based on what I saw today? The first half is so different than the last half.
Yeah.
I'd be curious enough to watch the next episode to see what direction they would go between the two episodes. What's it going to be like? Because I enjoyed the first one enough, and a little bit of the second one. It kept my interest, even though I was like, this is out of the norm.
Yeah. and for me, I think similarly, I'd be like, oh, they're starting to be more like the Indiana Jones I'm sort of expecting. Maybe they'll start doing better now. I don't know if they will, but I think I would be intrigued to continue to watch as well. So according to us, I guess keep watching Young Indiana Jones if you made it this far. But
there's not much left
now.
Yeah, exactly.
Speaking of which, the next chapter is called "The Treasure of the Peacock's Eye." And this is
go ahead.
A two-parter. This is a one-time thing. Go ahead.
So, do you remember where the Peacock's Eye is? How that's important
to Temple of Doom?
Yes, apparently that's the crystal or the diamond that he's trying to give to the mob boss in China or whatever at the beginning. Is the eye of the peacock? Is that what you said it was? Peacock's eye?
Peacock's eye.
Yeah. So apparently, according to that trivia, when we did that one, Remy is coming back for this one. So,
well, spoiler alert, yes.
Oh, okay.
He goes back to London and teams up with Remy there.
All right.
Look at for this.
Sorry, spoil it. Jeez.
Well, it's a fun spoiler. Especially since it gives you a little hope, something to look forward to.
Yes.
The return of a friend.
So. That's true. Awesome, guys. Well, until Thank you to David. Thank you to Paul. And for all of us, we bid you a whoopah.
Get off my podcast.
All right. So now we're going to stop streaming all. Thank you so much, Bobo, Kennethan. I'm not sure if anyone else is here, but anyone, Star Fox, I think maybe still is here. Thank you all for hanging out. Sorry again about the issue before. Of course, Kennethan. And we're going to stop here, but we're still going to do our spiritual speculation section. So you'll get to listen to that if you're a patron, which I think several of you are. And thank you for hanging out in chat. I'm going to go ahead and pray for us. Then we'll do a stream face and get on to spiritual speculation. Lord God, thank you.
Don't forget about Geek Devotions doing track this weekend.
Oh, to include them in the prayers that we mean?
And letting people know.
Since we're offline right now.
Gotcha. Thank you. They got sucked out the airlock. No me gusta, Baba. That means I don't like it. Because they probably wouldn't know.
Good job.
Lord God, thank you so much for tonight. Thank you for us figuring out a solution so that David could be a part of this episode. Thank you for us having a fun conversation. Everyone who is here watching live and interacting and being part of it as well. I pray that we would all have good weekends ahead of us, whether we're working or not. Please be protecting us, providing for us. And for those of us who have put our faith and trust in you, may we pursue you more and more each day. And for those of us who haven't, may we see and experience your love, your truth, your grace, and your beauty in a fresh new way. I pray all these things in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
All right, guys. So please, well, David, you have the same, I have an image of you on the stream, so you don't get a new stream face. But until next time, here is me and Paul's stream face.
Is it still going?
Yes.
So I don't know.
That's how you hold on.
I hold on to what? Hold on to what?